Hey, what's up, guys? Since this is a topic that's of much importance, let's have a conversation about it. It's about quitting drinking. So here's how kind of my story goes with quitting drinking. It was June of 2020 when the actual quitting drinking began. And what I mean by this goes a little bit like this. So I had like stopped drinking before. Like I stopped drinking in my 20s for whatever, for uh I was lifting a lot of weights and I was really trying to get shredded, so I quit drinking. Um Back in my 20s for I don't even know, like a year or whatever. Not many. And then I quit drinking for Lent 1 year. That's preparation season for Easter for you non-Catholics and other folks that are listening to this. So basically, it's whatever, like 40 days, prior to Easter, you just don't drink. So I did that, and I ended up enjoying that quite a bit, that Lent. And I had been toying around with the idea of to stop drinking. So I don't think I didn't have like a drinking problem, I'd say, but there was always a reason to have a drink, if you know what I mean. Good day at work, have a drink. A bad day at work, have a drink. Something to celebrate in life, have a drink. Something to celebrate in marriage, have a drink. Friends are coming over, have a drink. Relaxing on the couch, reading a book, have a drink. Get home from work, have a drink. It's Sunday, have a drink. There's always a reason to have a drink. Those are good times and bad times. You'll probably notice that about yourself. If you're like me, you can always like, you just reason it, right? On a business trip, have a drink. Out with coworkers, have a drink. Hanging out with family, have a drink. Having a nice dinner, have a drink. So there's always a time and an excuse in our culture to have a drink. And it's very common for everybody just to drink all the time. Like if you go to like a birthday party, like you expect to have a drink. If you go do anything, as a family, you go out to dinner, like you could expect to have a drink. All right, so I've been, toying around with not drinking, and I'm the type of guy that needs to go, pretty much to zero tolerance. Like I can't just like have a drink, on Sunday or something like that, or have a drink like once a month. Like it's got to be almost zero. So I don't say I don't drink at this point, but if I do drink, it's like a glass or two of wine once or twice a year. That's it. Maybe, instead of that wine time, it'll be, a glass or two of whiskey. Like, and I'm not talking about like a glass. I'm talking about like a glass of whiskey with ice in it. That's it. That's it. And that's on like very, very rare occasions. And usually during like a season. So Christmas season or like Easter or something like that. That's it. So I don't like do it on my birthday and all that type of stuff. All right. So it's June of 2020. And I come downstairs. It's bright and early in the morning. This is literally how it went. And I remember walking across the floor. I think I might have been like just slightly um, feeling a couple glasses from the night before this early morning. And I'm walking across the floor, going to get coffee, whatever. It's like seven in the morning. I don't know what time it is. But it's early. It's early in the morning. The sun's out. It's beautiful. It's June. It's summer day, right? And I'm walking there, and I just decided I was like, I'm done drinking. I'm done. I'm done. So I quit drinking. And my experience with that was, it's always like you always make that decision to quit drinking, and then it doesn't last very long. But for some reason, this one took, and I mean now it's whatever, April of 2024. So it's been literally a handful of times between June of 2020 and um, April of 2024 that I had a drink, like literally a handful of times. That's it. Um, and I feel great. Definitely feel great. But here's the thing. It was very hard in the beginning, and if I felt weird, like when we'd go to a birthday party, or there was like those typical reasons that I would have a drink. I didn't have a drink, and I felt like odd man out, like not drinking. But it wasn't before long when people would ask me questions about it, and they would be like, "Oh man, like I'd like to quit drinking too." I'm like, "Well, why don't you?" Like, "Oh well, everybody has their own like long story of excuses, and they like to have a drink and this." I'm like, just go do it. I feel great. I recommend it to everybody. I feel excellent, and I don't mean just like quit drinking. For a very short amount of time. Like that's not gonna do anything for you. Like it's still in your body. I mean, quit drinking for a while. So I'd say the first probably the first month was really tough to quit drinking because your body's like coming off. It's like it used to do something, all those sugars and the alcohol, and then you're not doing it anymore. So your body's kind of questioning, like, what are you doing? Like, okay, we're gonna start to operate differently. So you feel a little bit like you want to have a drink. And I think that takes, the first month was tough. Probably it took a couple months for that feeling to go away. And I'd say, upon reflection, it was probably like a whole year, like one whole year until I can go places and do things and not even think about drinking or have that like almost like disgust like in my mind for drinking and knowing that if I did drink I'd feel terrible, and that's the truth. Because whenever I do drink now, like I don't drink to intoxication or anything like that, but if I have a drink, like those handful of times that I've had a drink and I've been completely sober, um, I don't feel the best the next day. Like my body thinks, what are you doing to me? And kind of messes with my internal systems and definitely with my head too. I noticed too from drinking as well. So if you're a guy and you are maybe suffering or have like, a bit of depression, quit drinking. Because that goes away very, very quickly. There's something between like depression and alcohol that go hand in hand. Like you don't necessarily know it when you're drinking, but when you come back out of the other side and you're not drinking anymore, uh, you really start to realize that part of you. That drinking would cause, even though I wasn't like, drinking during this, like it causes like a bit of anxiety and definitely causes a bit of depression. And that's just from, drinking a couple times a week, as probably most Americans do every single week. So I noticed my mind is clear now. I sleep a heck of a lot better. I wake up super early. At the same time I quit drinking, I started running. So that was probably very beneficial. I'm not swollen anywhere. Like my face is not swollen, my body's not swollen. I can look back on pictures and it's like, oh my goodness. Like even though I was never fat, just like the drinking like adds a layer of softness to your face, to your body. Like just like it's almost like imperceivable. When you're, I mean, I'm in shape and I've always been in pretty good shape, but it's almost like imperceivable, but you see it in pictures. When you quit drinking and you've quit drinking for years, you can see very, very clearly. You look very different. Your eyes look different. Your face looks different. Like the amount of like just like smoothness to your face, or puffiness is different because it's it's alcohol. Kind of, I don't know what it is. It gets right under the skin and just puffs you out, and it just like adds like a level of softness. It's not a good look for men. Um, so it took a while. So I recommend to anybody very, very strongly quit drinking. And I have a zero tolerance type of personality, so I can't just say, "Oh, I'll drink once in a while," or drink. I do drink once in a while, a couple times a year, but all in all, I can't just have like one, one tiny little glass of wine or something like that. It's all or nothing. I recommend that for you guys that are going to be not drinking, just do nothing, completely nothing. You'll start to feel great, but it's going to take a little bit of time before you come back out and your body cycles through the booze. So that's it. That's a quick introspect into quitting drinking. So go quit drinking. You'll feel better.